Trapped in their homes, bailing out flooded and damaged cars, RTV6 is working to get to the bottom of this deep problem after residents asked us for help. Hit after hit, and now this congregation is fed up. A church known for its generosity, looking for answers as it continues to become a target for crime. And she's breaking barriers in her city. How this new police leader used her grief to grow future connections and her plans to bring peace to central Indiana.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Nicole Griffin. RTV6 is working to get a resolution for frustrated residents in Indianapolis. People say they have been trapped inside their homes, then their cars are flooded out. Now they're hoping our involvement can get that water moving on out.
It was actually worse than this. It was over the curbs.
Overflow from a lake inside this Castleton apartment complex is leading to a major flooding situation. The parking lot is covered in inches of water.
That car on the very end right there, the Civic, is my car.
Judith Hillier lives at waterside of Castleton, but didn't agree to be this close to the water, and she isn't too happy that it could possibly damage her vehicle.
We had to cover up my muffler with a trash bag yesterday just to make sure no water got inside. There was actually a lady. Her car did fill up with water yesterday.
Judith says the complex did set a pump up in the water,
which is found in the middle of our little lake with the trash can.
But she says there is a bigger issue here and worries if something isn't done to fix it, the flooding will continue every time there was heavy rain.
They said that there was blockage, not from our side, but they wanted to say that it was from the city side, connecting the interstate. Really, I think we need to work on the drainage system here.
Until then, she's having a difficult time even leaving her apartment.
It's hard to get to work, hard to go get groceries or go about your daily life when you have to swim to your car.
And she worries what's going to happen when there was more rain later this week.
I feel like we got to do better. Anytime we're getting rain now, we're just kind of scared.
We tried contacting managers at the complex to see what is being done to resolve this issue, but we were told to call back on Monday. A spokesman from the Department of Public Works tells us the retention pond in question drains under private property into the state's public right-of-way and that the city doesn't own anything immediately downstream. We've now reached out to INDOT as well to find out who is responsible. A Southwest Indianapolis church known for giving back in their community says they are being targeted by thieves and they're running out of resources to help those in need. As RTV6's Troy Washington shows us, the church might be frustrated, but they are ready for the stealing to stop so they can forgive and move on.
6 different times that we had people on property, destroying things and stealing things.
At this point, Pastor Kristen Marble says it's getting old and expensive.
Got lights and cameras and motion detector lights on them, but apparently that wasn't enough.
She dreads pulling into the parking lot at West Morris Street Free Methodist Church because she can't help but fear what she might find.
This July, we got hit for the first time and had 7 units stolen.
Right away, Pastor Marble got to work replacing most of the units, but before she could even breathe a sigh of relief, it happened again.
Between Christmas and New Year's, we got hit again, and so 3 of the ones that we had replaced in July that were brand new got stolen again.
It's not just the AC units that are disappearing. Someone tried to steal parts off the church's van, too.
And there's this sense of we don't know when this is going to end.
Marble suspects it's someone with a problem.
We figure that it's probably somebody that is dealing with an addiction.
For a century, the church has served the community, but as of lately, they've been so busy cleaning up messes like this one that is taken away from the mission here at Free Methodist Church.
We're spending a lot of time and money and attention and energy focused on, responding to all of this instead of being able to serve in the community, which is really what our heart is.
After the Church of Lord and Jesus Christ lost everything in a fire just before Christmas, West Morris Street Free Methodists opened their doors to let the congregation keep worshiping. And though the church says they won't get weary in well-doing, they admit crooks are making it hard to maintain.
It really limits how much we can actually do.
There's frustration with the whole ordeal, but there's also forgiveness.
Our heart goes out to them. That might sound strange, but it does.
Working for you on the Southwest side, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. If you or your community group is experiencing a problem and you don't know how to get it solved, connect with us here at RTV6 and we'll see if there's anything we can do. Call or send us a message at workingforyou@rtv6.com. Let's take a live look outside. After all that rain, you're probably hoping for a chance to dry out a bit. Let's get right over to Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounts.
And Nicole, a quick look back at all of that rain that we picked up over the last couple of days. Indianapolis, 3.5 inches of rain, which is more than we typically see the entire month of January. Now, most locations picked up between 2 and 4 inches of rain. Had some exceptions like Plainfield and Hendricks County picked up close to 5 inches of rainfall over the last couple of days. So after all of that, it is nice to see a relatively quiet Storm Team 6 radar this evening. Still, though, we have some areas of drizzle out there. And checking out temperatures, Crawfordsville, Lafayette, just above the freezing mark. As you hover there, could see some isolated slick spots. Don't think it'll be a widespread issue. It's 37 in Indy and Columbus. And temperatures are generally going to be on our side through the overnight as we hover in the middle 30s until we get to around sunrise with those temperatures a little closer to the freezing mark. Coming up, we've got another round of some January warmth coming our way. Unfortunately, also another round of soaking rain. Plus, we'll talk about what we knew was going to come sooner or later, a blast of some cold winter air.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Well, tonight, a sad case of gun violence. An 8-year-old boy is said to be in life-threatening condition after a shooting. This happened in Fort Wayne early this morning. Police say they arrived to a home to find the 8-year-old boy with a gunshot wound to his shoulder chest area. Investigators say the boy was inside the home when gunshots were fired outside the residence. He is now in the hospital and no arrests have been made. One woman is making history in central Indiana, and her incredible journey shows how strength can turn grief into purpose. Lossie Davis is the city of Southport's first black woman appointed to the police department's command staff. She's been in law enforcement for 3 decades and is now the assistant chief. After her son was murdered while attending a basketball camp in Tennessee, Davis formed Broken But Blessed Ministries, a grief and healing ministry, and a book club. Davis is using her peaceful point of view to promote better relationships between people in the community who may be at odds with feuds leading to violence. She says Marion County needs a different mindset.
One thing we have to learn how to do, we have to learn how to live and work together as brothers and sisters in this world. Because if we don't, we will perish as fools if we don't learn how to live together and work together in this life.
Through her ministry work, Davis also wrote a book in memory of her son called God's Purpose for My Pain. She's also the First Lady of Ambassador Baptist Church. You can find our full profile of Assistant Chief Davis right now on the RTV6 app. The doors will remain closed this week at a Northside staple, a restaurant that has served the community for more than 30 years. The owners of Country Kitchen Soul Food Place say they don't know when they will be able to reopen after a fire Saturday morning. Tomorrow, they plan to meet with their insurance company. Investigators believe the fire started inside the building at 18th Street and North College Avenue in a downstairs office area around midnight. You can't tell the extent of the damage from the outside, but an IFD spokeswoman says there is heavy damage and the stability of the building is compromised. We talked with an employee who is emotional about seeing the windows boarded up and knowing they won't be able to serve the community for some time.
It's very family oriented and it's just a viable part of the community, and I'm just sad.
This is very painful. Our hearts go out. Our prayers are up. I knew what their plans were. I talked to them about expanding, and this may be fortuitous. This may be just the push for something bigger.
In a Facebook post, the owners say they thank everyone for their overwhelming support and words of comfort. They say the calls, messages, and stories have truly made them proud to be a small piece of the fabric of Indianapolis. They promise to keep the community updated as they work to move forward. Tonight, police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened early this morning on the northwest side. Officers were called out to Bastille Lane in the Lafayette Villas neighborhood around 3:30 this morning. That's near 56th Street and Lafayette Road. When officers arrived, they found a man who appeared to be shot. Officers called for help from Indianapolis EMS, and they pronounced that man dead at the scene. Investigators are now trying to track down leads in this case. We have details on how to report tips in this story on the RTV6 app. Police are also investigating early morning gunfire along one of the busiest nightlife streets downtown this weekend. Indy Metro police officers say someone was shot just after 2:30 a.m. today on Massachusetts Avenue near East Street. If you know anything about this, you are urged to report what you know to police or Crime Stoppers. We also have that on the RTV6 app. Coming up, more cities across the nation are battling a growing problem: tainted water, what one community had to do to get its city to take action. But first, Britain's Queen Elizabeth prepares herself for a crisis family meeting as she summons her son and grandsons. What's next in this tricky tangle two royals are trying to get out of? Kyle.
And we got quite the temperature roller coaster coming our way over the next several days, topping it off with a temperature plunge. We'll talk about the precipitation that's going to come along with it. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Now that's what Hardee's calls a resolution.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
The whole world's talking about it, and now a royal meeting is set for tomorrow to discuss the future of Harry and Meghan after the couple announced they want to step back from their royal duties. Here's Ariel Reshef with the details.
Britain's royal family thrown into turmoil last Wednesday after Prince Harry and his wife Meghan announced their desire to step back from senior royal duties. Queen Elizabeth stepping out before cameras Sunday. The 93-year-old monarch now calling for a face-to-face meeting with Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry to discuss the future role of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Palace sources saying Meghan, who has returned to Canada to be with baby Archie, will join the discussion by phone.
It shows that there is a real and genuine desire to accommodate the Sussexes, to make them happy. They've clearly been so unhappy and nobody wants that.
A British journalist close to the Sussexes, ITV's Tom Brady, interviewed the couple for a documentary on their African tour last October.
Would it be fair to say not really? Okay, since really been a struggle.
Yes. Prince Harry also revealing his relationship with his brother had become fractured.
We're brothers. We'll always be brothers. We're certainly on different paths at the moment.
The Sunday Times reporting William spoke to a friend about Harry, saying, "I've put my arm around my brother all our lives, and I can't do that anymore." The Queen now striving to both help her grandson and protect the crown.
I think what's important now is that moving forward, they are all on the same page and that they are talking things through before things are put out into the public domain.
The issue of money likely to be a part of Monday's discussion. Harry and Meghan have said they will work to become financially independent, but whether Prince Charles, who provides the bulk of their money, will continue to do so remains to be seen. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, New York.
Ariel, thank you. Floodwaters, tornadoes, and fallen trees have claimed the lives of at least 9 people across the country since Friday. Those deaths in Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. An EF2 tornado hit Pickens County, Alabama, killing 3 people as the storm tore through a neighborhood, leveling homes. In Louisiana, severe weather left another 3 dead, including a 75-year-old man who died after a tree fell on his home. And in Lubbock, Texas, a firefighter and police officer were killed while responding to car crashes. People lining the streets today as their bodies were escorted. Meanwhile, places all over Indiana are feeling the pressure right now as people deal with flooding. Take a look at this up in northern Indiana in St. Joseph County. In some places, the water has made new rivers, with residents doing whatever they can to make sure their cars don't get stuck in the door-high water. Many people up there seeing flooding from nearby farm runoff. And Kyle, I just drove back from Kentucky, I can't think, yesterday, and I noticed a lot of fields. were
still flooded.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while for that water to recede, and unfortunately we do have a couple more chances for some rain coming our way, but a couple of dry days out there as well, so that we will take while we can get it. Our temperature 37 degrees. It's actually still holding at our high temperature for today. You can see that humidity though is 96%, and we're still reporting some of that drizzle, as even though the large storm system has pulled away, the atmosphere is just wringing out every last drop that it can. So we've got some of that drizzle that is fairly difficult for radar to detect, but out there this evening, that means we can't rule out an isolated slick spot as you head out the door in the morning, with temperatures that will drop close to the freezing mark for us, but I think we'll be dry at that point with mostly cloudy skies and a light southwest breeze. The clouds we had today, they're still going to be there in the morning and pretty stubborn here as we go throughout our Monday, even into the lunch hour, mostly cloudy skies. Heading into the afternoon and the evening, we're going to try and work in a little bit more of that sunshine, but overall the clouds winning out the day. That said, temperatures are going to warm up a little bit more than what we enjoyed today. 41 already for the lunch hour. We'll get into the upper 40s, close to 50 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And this is traditionally our coldest time of year in central Indiana. We're getting into that period with our average high in the middle 30s. Tomorrow, we'll get to 43 in Frankfort, 44 in Kokomo, and temperatures along I-70, upper 40s, close to even the 50-degree mark. You'll be in the upper 40s in Spencer, Greensburg at 47 degrees. But the warming trend, that continues here. Some rare air, although it really hasn't been all that rare in the month of January this year. 55 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are numbers that are 20 degrees above average for this time of year. Wednesday is the next chance for some rain, but I think this is going to be a very light system that moves in Wednesday evening, quarter-inch or less of rainfall. We widen the view. Go to Friday and you can see the next storm system. This one looks to be a little more potent here. Could see a little bit of a wintry mix, but primarily looks like it's going to be another soaking rainmaker for us, possibly ending as a little bit of a wintry mix with temperatures falling next weekend. So a whole lot going on in the 7-day planning forecast. Temperatures, though, pretty comfortable here the next several days, all considered. That average high of 35. We'll cool down a little bit on Thursday and Friday, but there comes that system Friday throughout the day on Saturday. Now, that high on Saturday morning will come the first part of the day. Temperatures fall there, and we are only at 25 on Sunday. Last time we had a high in the 20s was December 18th, so it's been a while.
So we're going from high of 50 to high of 25.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Big fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Well, we know about the lead-tainted water in Flint, Michigan, but there's a new city battling a similar problem. Alicia Nieves is looking into what people on the East Coast had to do to get their city to clean up its water.
About 5 years ago in Flint, Michigan, almost 100,000 people in the Great Lakes state learned they were exposed to elevated levels of lead in their water.
A bottle of water for 2 apples.
Today in Newark, New Jersey,
you have to rinse fruit.
More than 200,000 residents like Yvette Jordan are dealing with a similar water crisis.
You followed what was happening in Flint, Michigan. Did at any point you think that that could potentially happen here in Newark, New Jersey to you?
I never thought that. Ever. I just thought it was something horrible because of a series of incidents in their government, and it would never affect here.
In 2018, tests of Newark's water revealed lead levels upwards of 4 times the EPA's allowable limit. And since, residents like Jordan have had to use bottled water for almost every act that involves ingesting or possibly ingesting water.
You get up, you brush your teeth. Oops. I need bottled water so I can brush my teeth. I shower, okay, I shower, I use regular water. Supposedly, I've got to flush the water.
The issue is more than annoying to deal with. It's dangerous. Continued consumption of water with elevated levels of lead could lead to serious and irreversible health repercussions.
Simply put, water is life, and safe water really is a human right.
After Yvette Jordan and others sued, Newark came up with a plan to rip up city streets and replace all 18,000 lead lines that are more than 100 years old. But the threat of lead in drinking water is bigger than Newark and Flint. Across the country, there's an estimated 6 million lead service lines in similarly aging water systems.
So what you see here in Newark may happen in your own city, in your own town. town.
I'm Alicia Nieves.
Coming up, you can learn a lot from books, but this takes it to a whole other level in the fight against opioid addiction. How Midwestern libraries are getting in on the battle when the news continues here on RTV6.
Leaders in neurosurgical care.
This is the news on RTV6. For the last few years, libraries have started leveraging their resources in the fight against the deadly opioid crisis. It's too early to measure the impact that they're having, but as Usher Qureshi found out, they are playing an increasingly active role in prevention and recovery efforts.
Every day, 130 Americans die from an opioid overdose. It's an epidemic that has placed libraries and their staff on the front lines. According to the CDC, from 1999 to 2017, almost 400,000 people died from an overdose involving an opioid, including prescription and illicit drugs. 3 overdoses inside the Peoria Public Library in central Illinois in less than a year forced administrators there to act.
He collapsed right in front of her at the desk. So she called the security card, called emergency responders, and he was revived with Narcan.
80 staff members at all 5 of their branches are now trained on how to administer the life-saving overdose antidote, Narcan or naloxone.
So this role of library as an intermediary, intervener, supporter is not new. But I think this crisis is new, and we have to help the people who are coming in our doors.
The nonprofit Online Computer Library Center, or OCLC, released a report this past fall detailing some of the ways libraries are playing a larger part in battling the national opioid crisis. At the top of that list, education.
How can we translate that into better services and support for people, for individuals who may be addicted, or for their families and their communities?
Many libraries are stocking books like Sam Quinones' Dreamland, the true tale of America's opiate epidemic.
I had no idea when I read it just about the size of the problem, and that people can work a job and be very addicted to a substance.
With the threat from opioids in the form of pills, heroin, and fentanyl not going away, many libraries are helping to search for answers and provide them to those who need them most.
There's not one right answer to this. It is not going to be libraries alone. It is not going to be any of these other agencies by themselves. This issue is too big.
Reporting from Peoria, Illinois, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Still to come here on the news at 11, this beauty is about as temporary as you can get, but people say that's half the fun inside the world of ice carving. That plus a final check back on your forecast with meteorologist Kyle Mounds, who can tell us when you can expect a return of possible rain. This is the news on RTV6.
Day at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Both the carvers and the festival goers alike say what they love about ice is how it's different from moment to moment. And that was definitely the case this weekend at Carmel's Festival of Ice. The schedule was changed a bit due to the warm temperatures and rain, but the ice carving contest still went on. We caught up with the only carver in the competition who hails from Indiana. Stephen Cook is from Daleville, and he has been carving ice into masterpieces for 20 years. He says part of what makes ice carving so magical and why he believes so many people love it is its fleeting nature.
I think there's something very appealing about both a transparent and a temporary medium. I mean, you can't get the same thing with acrylic or glass. I mean, it's transparent, but there's something about the temporal quality of the ice that is appealing. It's always changing.
It's rare in January where we've got ice and we're fighting time because of the mild temperatures. But we've got another warm-up coming our way here on Monday. We'll find temperatures making their way back into the middle 40s, middle 50s by the middle part of the week, and then it turns much colder behind the system for the weekend.
All right, Kyle, thank you, and thank you for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night.